So yeah, hey everyone. Oh, that's too loud. Hey everyone, I am here with both, Dawood and Sundaveshwar, as well as Pablo, of course. So Pablo, of course, he doesn't need an introduction. I'm sure many of you know him. He's our global program manager for the Microsoft Student Partner Program, and needless to say, he doesn't actually need an introduction, but we're just gonna let him introduce himself anyway, just in case. But I hope you all can.
I appreciate the invite, and I think I'm more excited to be here than you guys are.
Not something which I think is possible, but yeah, I'm glad you're here, able to make this possible.
Yeah, we are much excited. We are so much excited. Absolutely.
Well, again, I appreciate the invitation. Any opportunity to speak to amazing students across the globe, I would jump up at. So.
Yeah. So would Sundaveshwar and Dawood, you would like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, sure. And just let me know if I'm audible. I mean, sometimes my network can jam up, so I don't want to be distracting in this process. But just let me know if I'm audible enough to talk.
Yeah, you sound audible.
Okay. Awesome. So, my name is Dawood Idris, and often we are right here in the Inspire room, inspiring huge amounts of people across the globe every week, 4:30. And today here with us is Pablo and also Sundaveshwar. But frankly, I'm so much excited. I never imagined this day to come where we have Pablo on the call, and then have our student partners, ready to watch and then listen to Pablo out there, and also non-student partners who are watching us. Today is really going to be an exciting session, inspirational, of course, and also, educational, because a lot of things are going to be taken away. So we basically learn, share, and inspire. Hi, Sundaveshwar.
Hello, I'm Sundareshwar from India, and I do the designs for the MSPInspire sessions, and well, that's it. Right now, I just do the designs right now, and it's a very big opportunity for me to be in this meeting with Pablo sir.
Yeah, I mean the design that you see right here is Sundaveshwar made it. Like pretty much every design we put out is by Sundaveshwar, so send him some love on Twitter as well. I literally asked him to make this design like an hour ago, and he did it super fast. So I mean, he's super amazing. And yeah, so yeah, myself, I'm Microsoft Student Partner as well. I joined back in September, and I remember messaging Pablo. I was like, it was on the 4th. I was like, I'm not sure, is my application, has it been looked at yet? And like the next day, actually it was on the 3rd, but like the next day, I was like cycling around with my friend. And I just got an email, and I was like, "What?" It's like to be here now in a call with you, and like to have like discussed this whole event, plan it with you, is like something I don't think I would have ever imagined before. And like Microsoft Imagine, no pun intended. But yeah, it's like I'm just super happy to be here with everyone. Like everyone here is amazing. Like everyone in the chat, everyone who's come here to hear Pablo. You're in the right place, because Pablo is just an amazing person. He's super inspirational, and it takes courage to like go back and help people when they're all across the whole globe. That's impressive. And yeah, we're gonna be asking a lot of questions that all of you have. We've got
and then actually that being said, Pablo is ready to always help and everyone grow. I mean, someone was not a student partner, but on Twitter and messaged Pablo, and then Pablo willingly help out. Pablo is just an amazing in terms of, how he helps out and then make things happen. So thanks so much for joining us here, Pablo. We are super proud to have you here. And over to you. Maybe you should just tell us about your inspirational journey to Microsoft. And now we just want to hear from you.
I'd be happy to share it. Well, first of all, it's really we provide you a platform, right? We give you a door. You're the ones that open it and go through it. So again, I try to do everything I can to give as many opportunities to student partners as possible, whether it be internally with Microsoft or externally doing events or during sessions such as this. I want to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of it, and I want you to have an impact. Our mission statement is empowering every person on this planet to achieve more, and my job is to empower you, all the students out there, student partners, and then potential student partners as well, to be able to do that with your communities and give you the tools and give you the ability to skill up and essentially empower your own communities, whether it be your university, your hometown, your country, your region, right? Nothing is off the table as far as what you can do as a student partner. So I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you guys have that up on the video.
I'll share that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So someone is going to share the screen. Pablo has an amazing set of slides here to show you. I mean, I think during the Indian Student Partner Summit, I saw a picture when Pablo was presenting a slide, and then after that, I asked the student partners, and then they were like, I think Khushbu was the one I asked, and Khushbu told me that I nearly cried when I heard Pablo sharing his story. I was like, whoa. So then we need
don't
to
set the bar too high. Don't set the bar too high.
Yes, I was like, then we need to get Pablo here to inspire a lot of people out there. So amazing. Someone confirm if you put the slide up there.
Yeah. It's all visible.
Awesome.
The chat can also tell me it should be. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Plenty of time later. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying thanks. Vedant in the chat said it's visible.
Great, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll have time for questions later. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this, but now that they've teed it up, I might as well go through my journey and about how I ended up being the global program manager for the Imagine Cup and the Student Partner Program. And for me, it's really about empowering for impact. Like I mentioned earlier, that is our mission statement, to empower every person on this planet to achieve more. And I can only do so much as an individual, but as a community, nothing is. It's essentially our potential is limitless, right? So that's what I love about this program. That's what I love about being a lead for this program. And I really want to first thank everybody. I want to thank all the student partners that have been doing amazing work across the globe all year. Some have been in the program for multiple years. I was talking to a student partner that's been in the program for 6 years. He was a student partner as a freshman undergraduate, and then he went to grad school, and he's still a student partner. So really appreciate everything that you all do for your communities, that you all do for each other. It's really amazing to see how you help each other out and reach out across borders, across countries, across the globe to help each other out in the community. And of course, for those who aren't student partners, thank you for showing interest, right? For joining us on this call, joining us on this journey. You too could be a student partner. All it takes is an application. You just go to studentpartners.microsoft.com, apply. We're accepting applications quarterly, and you too could be a part of this amazing program. And there's not a lack of people that will help you in that journey. You can ask questions here. Salman, Dawuda, all these folks are on Twitter and Instagram, and they're happy to talk to you about their journeys and help you become a part of this program. One of the things I love about our community is just how diverse it is. I'm sorry? Right. Did I lose audio?
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Okay,
okay,
Pablo, go ahead.
Sorry.
Thanks.
I think we were just saying absolutely. He was agreeing with what you said.
Oh, gotcha. And so one of the things I love about this community is the diversity, right? Not only across countries and across regions, but just of the people in the program itself. The interest in technologies, the interest in social good and making a difference and having an impact in their communities is always just so inspiring to me. And really, is the reason why I have a job. It's it's the student partners, that all the work that you do and all of the things you do for communities that keep me going, keep all of us on my team going, and we're really inspired by you on a daily basis. And we are constantly looking for amazing student partners. As I mentioned before, applications are open, so please join us. So my question for student partners and for those who aren't is, how do you want to have an impact? How do you want to make a difference in the world around you? And for me, as I mentioned before, it's about empowering others, right? And you can do that by figuring out what is it that you're passionate about. What technology are you passionate about? This is an individual choice. Nobody can tell you what you're passionate about. You're passionate about something because of something that happened in your life or the way it impacted you in your journey.
Yeah.
And that can be seen. Like people, when you present on something you're passionate about, it's obvious. It can be seen and it's infectious. And so that's something, it's always visible. What can you do for others? What can you teach them? What about the things that you're passionate about, the technology or other? What can you teach them and help them in their journey in empowering your society? Once you have a job, empowering your employer, empowering your customers and your community. The only person that defines you is you, right? Nobody else can define who you are. The people's perception of you is derived from their experience with you. So, think about that as you move forward in your journey. You make your own brand, right? You are who you are, and bring the best parts of that out front and center, and let people see the amazing person that you are and the amazing things that you can do and contribute to your communities. Build trust and lead by example. Like for me, the key person for that is Satya, right? He's built trust with his employees. He's built trust with all of our customers and with people across the globe. And look at all the amazing things that Microsoft is doing today during COVID-19, right? I mean, they're giving away Teams. We've had an uptick of 44 million people using Teams since the pandemic began. We're donating to our communities, not only here in Seattle, but across the globe. And there's just so much that we do as a company, and all that is because of this amazing, incredibly inspiring leader that we have. And when I think about, being a leader for you as student partners, I want you to look up to me like I look up to Satya, right? I want, I want you to feel maybe not the same, but at least get that inspiration and get that desire and drive to move forward and make a difference in the world. And trust and community go hand in hand. Like you can't build a community without building trust. And for me, that's super important for me to build trust with the student partners across the globe, for other students that are just interested in the program and want to be a part of it. I want you to know that we're here for you, and that we really want this community as a platform for you to succeed and to achieve what you want to achieve. And as I mentioned before, like we just provide the door and the pathway, but you're the one that takes those steps, and you're the one that will move forward and make a difference in the world. So how did I get here? Well, the story starts a long time ago with a company called Houghton Mifflin. My mom is an author, and she was printing out these huge manuscripts, hundreds of pages that she was shipping to Houghton Mifflin on the East Coast here in the U.S. And she would always be stressed out, and she'd be running to the post office or to FedEx or UPS to get these shipments out on the last possible moment. And one day I asked her, I'm like, hey, why aren't you sending this electronically? And she's like, well, I don't know how to do this. This is a long time ago, so I'm dating myself here. But she's like, I don't know how to do that. There was no email at that time. There was no internet. And I'm like, well, you can use a modem. You can connect with the company with the modem and transfer the file digitally.
I think you need to explain what a modem is to a lot of the audience.
And so, she's like, I don't know how to do that, and I don't think they know how to do that. Otherwise, they would have suggested it. And I said, well, I'm happy to talk to them and help them in that journey. And so she's okay. She arranged the call and called them up and said, hey, our son wants to help us transfer this file electronically over modem, and he wants to step you through it. So they handed the phone over to me, and I don't think they're expecting a 12-year-old boy to be on the other line, right? And so as a 12-year-old, I'm working with Houghton Mifflin, explaining to them that my first question for them was, are you running Windows? What version of Windows are you running? Because I knew they were running Windows 3.1.1, dating myself once again. See, a challenge for you in the chat. See how old I am by dating myself at Windows 3.1.1 when I was 12.
Tell us what Windows you use in the chat as well. Like, what was your first Windows version?
First Windows, yeah, absolutely. And so, I knew to tell them to click on, how to get into Program Manager, how to get into Hyper Terminal, and then how to set up the modem to connect. And they were totally blown away. I completely changed their business model in a matter of minutes, because they were paying a ton of money for all these shipments to come in, and for all these authors to send their stuff, and suddenly they didn't have to pay anything anymore, and it was immediate. It was not overnight shipments, it was not waiting for days, and it was a digital copy. Prior to that, they were sending just reams of paper, and how do you edit that? They had to essentially put in typewriters and use whiteout and all that. This is a digital copy, so this was completely transforming the way they work. And so they called a week later, and they asked, my mom picked up the phone. She's like, "What do you think of my manuscript?" And like, "Actually, we want to talk to your son." And so they put me on the phone again, and they're like, "Can you help us with another author on this?" And so I ended up doing this with 4 different authors, essentially stepping them through the process, stepping the company through the process. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to write this down. Like, I need to write down the instructions so they don't have to keep on calling me. So at 12 years old, I had my first experience with documentation, and I documented the steps so that they could do this on their own. And again, it completely transformed the way they work. And I was 12. It didn't really think about my direct and indirect impact at that time. It was more about, hey, I'm helping somebody out. It felt good. I was using my knowledge of technology to have an impact, but wasn't really thinking about the direct or indirect impact at that time. I found out a couple weeks later that they'd asked my mom for a picture of me so they could hang it up in their lounge, because they were just so happy with my contributions. Yeah, in hindsight, I should have asked for some money, but that's the way it is, right? I was happy to be able to make a difference.
Yeah.
So after that, I went to school and worked in the university as an IT support help desk person. Ended up getting a job as a systems administrator after that, and now I started kind of thinking more in terms of, what is it that I want to do and how do I want to have an impact? And as a systems administrator, the work I did was, obviously directly impacted the hundreds of employees for the couple of different companies that I worked for as a sysadmin. But the indirect impact was, the thousands of customers that those companies interacted with, right? And so, I enjoyed that, but, was tech support really what I wanted to do the rest of my life? And, I had to really do some soul searching and think, what is it that I'm passionate about, and how can I combine both, my love for technology and love for having an impact with my career, right? With my choice in career. And back then, if you'd asked anybody who knew me, what am I passionate about? The first answer would be computers, without a doubt. And the second would be cars. I'm a huge car nut. I love Formula One, and I have my own project car. I'm not going to get into too much detail there, but an opportunity presented itself to move to Detroit and work for Roush. And so Roush Racing is a huge company in the U.S. They have a NASCAR team, but they also had an engineering team that did a lot of work for Ford. And so one of the cars that I was able to work on was the Ford GT. And it was an amazing experience. I mean, I was 25, I think at the time, 24, 25, and I got to drive these prototype Ford GTs on a test track in the desert, in and around Detroit, do emissions testing in the labs. It was just a huge, incredible experience. And the reason why I had this opportunity was because they needed somebody. They had computers in those cars that would interface with the in-car ECU, which is essentially what controls the engine and all the electronics on board. And those computers were always failing, and they didn't have anybody. They had a bunch of engineers that knew how to build cars and all that stuff, but they didn't have any computer guys that really knew how to interface with the in-car computer. So I get hired, and it was an amazing experience. I got to drive in a racetrack and do really awesome things for about 4 years. But when I started thinking about what is the impact that this work is having, my excitement started kind of waning, because I think we built like 4,000 of these cars, and so for the 4,000 people that had enough money that could afford these, that was the impact, and it just wasn't. It didn't really fulfill me. It didn't really feel like I was empowering other people. I was, yes, making an awesome car, having a great time doing it, but didn't really feel like I was having an impact, a larger impact in the world around me. So I ended up moving back to Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, and I ended up moving back, and I got a job with a nonprofit called Youth Guidance. And this nonprofit worked with inner city schools in Chicago to essentially help students advance in high school, to make sure that they were able to get to school, that they were able to finish their work and get their work done. So it was a lot of mentorship. It was a lot of counseling, and just really impacted these students in an amazing way. And so I managed the entire infrastructure, at the IT infrastructure, I should say, at the company, at the nonprofit, I should say. And it was amazing. Like, we impacted around 9 or 10,000 students a year in this program, and like seeing their stories and hearing how this job impacted them and essentially empowered them to move forward, to graduate, to go to college was super inspiring, right? I loved it. I worked there for 6 years, but I was already at the top of the kind of IT hierarchy. Like I was the IT manager. There was nowhere else for me to go. And after 6 years, I realized I wanted to do more, and I want to do something even greater and have more of an impact. And the great thing about this job was, I was working with all the Microsoft stack. So, managing Exchange Server, SharePoint, Hyper-V, Hyper-V for virtual machines, and Azure was just in its infancy at that time. So was just kind of tinkering with that at the beginning, but really hadn't implemented anything at that point in time. But it was an amazing experience to get this skills with Microsoft technology. And the other thing that I loved about it was Microsoft essentially gave us all that software for free. So we were at the cutting edge. We always had the newest version of server software, and like it just really impacted me that like Microsoft was essentially giving this stuff away so that nonprofits could have an impact in their communities. And that, to me, my uber goal was, someday in the future I would love to work at Microsoft, right? So after 6 years at youth guidance, I decided I wanted to try to work for Microsoft. I wanted to try to have a larger impact, and an opportunity presented itself to in Chicago to apply for a role there, and I did, and I got the interview. And so I had a screening interview. It was a half-hour call, and they just wanted to check to make sure that I actually knew what I was talking about when it came to technology and the Microsoft stack. And then they have what's called a finals day, where they invite you in, and it's usually a full day of interviews. I've heard many different things. At that time, I'd heard many different things. That sometimes it's like 4 or 5 different interviews with different people in a row. And then I've heard that sometimes they do it like in a panel. So there's just all these people in the room, and you're interviewing with them. And I had no idea what to expect. I was nervous, obviously, applying for or interviewing for a job at Microsoft. And about 48 hours before the interview, they emailed me and said, hey, okay, here's a 46 slide deck that you'll present. You will be role playing as if you already had the job, and we're going to be role playing as your customer, and we want you to present this deck to us. And I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna, like, I have 48 hours. I was also working full time, so it wasn't like I could just my job and do this, right? I had to find time to prepare, and I panicked at first. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. It felt totally overwhelming, and I wasn't sure how in the world I would ever manage to do it. And they also said, there's only one slide that I could change, and it was the About You slide, and that I could only spend 5 minutes on that slide. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is a huge challenge, right? And so, I kind of dug into it a little bit, and I realized, I don't really need to have these slides memorized. I just need to get through it. They want to see how I manage a meeting with a customer. They want to see how I manage the content, how I respond to questions. So I just need to get through the deck. But the important thing is that 5 minutes, right? One slide about you. And I just like all of you to take a second, or a couple seconds, and think, if you had an opportunity to interview with Microsoft and you had one slide to show about yourself, what would you put on it? What would you put on that slide? My first instinct was, what are my greatest accomplishments in my career, right? I'm going to put those on there as bullet points, right? But as I started thinking about it, they can see that in my resume. I'm just essentially putting something up there that they've already seen. Why would I do that? So I thought about it a little more, and finally decided that the only thing I was going to put on the slide was a picture of me in my overall, so like work clothes, wrenching on my car, with my tools, oil all over my hands and on my face from working on my project car. And that was it. That's the only slide I had. I didn't have any text on it. It was just me with a huge smile on my face with these tools in my hands. And so during the interview, when I got to that slide, I told them, this is me in my element, right? This is me happy and thrilled to be doing something I love. I love working on cars. I love getting under the hood and seeing how they work, making them faster, making them more efficient, making them more powerful. And that's what I want to do with you as my customer. I want to get under the hood and see how your company works, see how your IT infrastructure works, make you more efficient, more faster, more powerful. And I talked about all this experience that I had, essentially, working with Houghton Mifflin and helping them enable them with transferring files digitally. How I did all this work as a systems administrator, essentially having an impact in those companies, and how I did this work at the nonprofit, and kind of tied that all together into the story about who I am and why I want to work at Microsoft and why I think I'm the best candidate for this job. And I got a lot of feedback afterwards that that it was an amazing interview, that that they were blown away, and I'm very happy that I had that response, and thrilled that I ended up getting the job. And so my first job at Microsoft, I was a technical account manager. So I managed support contracts in public sector. So this is like nonprofits, state, local government, and education accounts. And I had 14 customer accounts. So there's thousands of employees that I had a direct impact with. And at this point in my career, I was definitely thinking about, what is my direct and indirect impact with the work that I'm doing. And so again, the direct impact was 14 customer contracts, 1,000 of employees in those contracts. But the indirect impact was, the tens of thousands of customers, if not hundreds of thousands, that those companies enabled in their communities. And so it was great. I loved it. I worked in that role for about 3.5 years. I think almost 4 years. But I was in the Midwest, and I was very much all my customers were in the Midwest as well. And I wanted something more international. I wanted something global, and I wanted to have a larger impact. So that's when I started looking, and I saw the opportunity to essentially manage the Imagine Cup competition. And I, again, went all in when I saw this job posting. I spent a week honing my resume to essentially align perfectly to what they were asking for in the job. And I can't explain to you how important that is. It's really easy. I won't say it's easy to get a resume together. I think it's easy to use the exact same resume for every job that you apply for. And obviously, as you get further in your career, it makes more of a difference to massage and actually tell a story that is more aligned to the job you're applying for. When you're first starting out, you don't have that much experience. It maybe not as key, but as much as you can, tell the story in your resume. That's the first thing they see and the first impression they have of you, right? So what story do you want to tell on your resume? What do you want to put as your summary? And definitely put a summary, because if you don't, they're just seeing data, right? We want to know, if I'm going to hire somebody at Microsoft, I want to know who you are, and I want to know why I should hire you, and why you'll have an impact and empower every person on the planet, right? And so I spent a week honing my resume, and got as many recommendations as I could from my network at Microsoft at that time, and I ended up getting the job. And so I moved out to Seattle. This was 2015, and I started my role as the competition manager. And here my direct impact was tens of thousands of students across the globe, right? We had 30,000 students register and compete in the Imagine Cup this past year. And that, to me, it's just amazing to know that many students are excited and want to be a part of this program. And the indirect impact, in our World Championship last year, we had 1.7 million people watch that World Championship. And to know that that is the work that I did all year long to essentially get these run all these competitions, get these students to want to participate, get them excited about being part of it, and then getting it in front of 1.7 million viewers it's just amazing, and totally blows me away, right? That the work that I do at Microsoft could have that kind of impact. So last year, January last year, the Susan Eibach, who was a peer of mine on a sister team, announced that she was leaving Microsoft. Actually, she wasn't leaving; she was getting a new role at Microsoft, and that she would no longer be the student partner global program manager. And so, I was very busy with the Imagine Cup already, but I just wanted to at least try and be, pitch to my boss that I wanted to manage the student partner program as well as the Imagine Cup. And, I put a white paper together, and I said, this is how I would do it, and this is why I think it's the right thing to do, and this is how my team would work. And, I expected them to take a couple figure it out, but that afternoon he asked me for coffee, and we went out for coffee. He's like, congratulations, you now manage the student partner program. I'm like, wait, what? They saw the impact that I've had, and the my desire to empower students with the Imagine Cup, and they like me felt that would be a good match for the student partner program as well.
Wow.
And then
the direct impact is thousands of students, right? So we have, we just onboarded the newest cohort. Welcome to those new student partners that are just joining us this year. Really excited to have you. We're about almost 2,500 student partners at this point in time in the program. And so that's my direct impact, right? And what I love about the student partner program is that, you know, stuff like this, I get to interact with you directly, like one to many or one to one in some cases. Like in the Imagine Cup, it's more transactional. The students, they participate, they submit, but I'm not interacting with them until the end, until the regional finals and the world championship. But with the student partner program, I feel like, you know, I'm part of this community and I'm leading this community and I get to interact with this community on a daily basis. And that is just so inspiring for me. But the indirect impact is exponential, right? Because every student partner, when they have an event, they teach 8 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 people, and those people can go out and teach more people in their communities. And it explodes in this amazing network of essentially sharing of passion, sharing of technology, sharing of skilling. And that is exponential. And that is what makes me so passionate about this program, is all of you that are currently student partners are having this impact when you have events, when you host things like this MSPInspire chat today, because these people will see this video and they'll say, you know, I want to apply to be the program, and they'll apply to be in the program, and they'll start having workshops that will then impact another 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 students that may then want to become part of the program. And it's just thrilling for me to know that this program has this kind of impact across the globe. So what can you do, start today, to be part of this journey and be a part of this amazing community? Well, one, if you're not a part of it, apply, right? Hopefully, you know, as we go through this call and I answer some more questions specific to the program later, you'll see, you know, how exciting it is and how amazing the students that are in this program are. But for those that are already in the program, you know, help us recruit diverse student partners. You know, connect with groups outside of your immediate community. You know, I'm proud to say that we've increased our number of women in the program significantly since I started, almost 4% more since last year. But you know, we're 24% female and 76% male, and we really need to get that more representative of the communities around us, right? And we need to get that as close to 50 as possible. And I unfortunately do not scale. I can't go out to all the universities. I wish I could, and recruit. So I'm really, it's in your hands as student partners to do that work and to try to make this community the best it can be. Being active on teams, you know, share how you're empowering, learn how others are empowering, learn from them, and you know, incorporate that into what you're doing with your communities, and share what you're doing as well, so they can learn from you. And help others discover their passion. You know, technology can be leveraged in so many ways. You know, help others think outside the box. They don't have to be computer science majors to be a part of this program. You know, the Power Platform is a prime example of the amazing things you can do without code, right? To have impact in your community and beyond. And so, one last story for you. In November of this past year, I was invited by Satya's office to introduce him to our world champion. So we have one of the world for Imagine Cup. They get a mentoring session with Satya. And so his team, for the past 4 or 5 years, but this is the first year his team asked me to essentially introduce Satya as part of the call. And I'm like, whoa, this is an honor, right? Like, I mean, this is crazy. And so it was also, you know, I knew it would just be me, him, and some of the staff in the room together, right? And so this is a picture that was taken during that call in November. And so I'm on my way to the office and I'm thinking to myself, you know, what is it that I want to say to him? Like, you know, how do I want to introduce him? Like, this is a pretty rare opportunity for me to not only be in the room by myself with Satya, but to introduce him to Brian, with the world champion from last year. And so on the way into the office, I had my, you know, I didn't want to, it wasn't about me, right? It was about Brian. It was about the Imagine Cup, and obviously about our leader, Satya. And so on our way into the office, I kind of went over this, you know, 15 seconds intro that I had in my head, and I practiced it all the way in the office. I'm walking over to the building that Satya's in. I'm, you know, got it in my head. I've got the whole thing down pat. And so I go up there and you know, I'm warming up Brian. He was a little nervous. So I'm trying to, you know, warm him up a little bit and so he's not so nervous. And then I hear the door open and you know, Satya's walking in, and he walks over to me. He holds out his hand. He's like, "It's really nice to meet you, Pablo." and he shook my hand, and I was totally like just so blown away that he knew. I mean, I'm sure he read the paper that I sent him in advance. I don't pretend to think that he knows who I am, like, or that knows me by name. But like just the fact that that he came in and said hi to me and thanked me for being there was just like totally threw me off. And so I kind of stumbled through a bit of what I wanted to say in the introduction, and then I'm like, oh my god, like that was not good. It's fine, but it wasn't everything I wanted to say. And so then when Brian, when they finished the session, that at that point, I wanted to thank Satya. I wanted to thank him for his investment in students across the globe, and for giving all these students an opportunity and these two platforms, Imagine Cup and the Student Partner Program, to achieve their dreams, right? And so thanked him. He left, and I got to say what I wanted to say, so I was happy about that. And then as I was leaving that room, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, what is the journey that got me into this room with Satya, and introducing him on a call. And I started thinking about all the people that I wanted to thank. And so the first thing I did when I got back to my office was call the hiring manager that hired me into Microsoft, to thank him for taking a chance on me and for bringing me into this company, and to tell him how grateful I am that I had that experience with him on that team, and it really got me into that room with Satya. And that's what I want for all of you. I want all of you to have this amazing journey that gets you into these opportunities that you may not have had otherwise, right? That allows you to open doors for jobs, or for networking, or for your future dreams. And that's what this program is all about. And that's what I wanted to do as your leader. And I'm thrilled to be here, and thrilled to have this opportunity with you.
That's amazing.
That's too amazing and too inspirational. It's you've gone above and exceeded, I think, what anyone would have thought you would do when assigning you this role. And the same for us when we came in. I don't think we ever would have seen like a figure like you, when I say to lead us all. You've been such an amazing leader for all of us.
I think
yeah.
that said myself, I think that was 2019 when Pablo was taking over, and when Suzanne was leaving, I was like, oh, this is sad. How are we losing Suzanne? How do we get a next program manager who is so much passionate about the community? I mean, that was when we were on Facebook, a Facebook chat, and then we moved to Teams. So Pablo had like the right time to come in, like everything planned out, because I could see with time how things were being executed, and it was so lovely. No one ever thought that this was how this program is going to change. It has had tremendous transformation ever since.
Yeah, me coming in as a new student partner in September, like I didn't see any of the the rough side of things, which people might talk about how it's changed. But for me, it was such an easy transition into it. So that's thanks to you, Pablo, for making it like that. And I think that's, really something that I can't give back to you.
No, I mean, it's I was thrilled to have this opportunity, and I don't take this opportunity lightly. I mean, this is a community of 2,500 incredibly amazing students. Like when I was at the India Summit, and even today on this call, look at the people you see on this call, look at the people in the chat, look at the people in student partners. They are going to be future CEOs, future CIOs, future CTOs. Like, I have no doubt about it. Like this is, I do not take this lightly. I do not take this as a responsibility for me. It's not only just because it's my job, but because I want this to be the best program possible, the best community possible, and I want all of you to have as many opportunities to skill up, to learn, to grow, and to eventually get a job and be these amazing leaders that I know you all be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I think we're gonna move on to the questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So yeah, I know you might have covered a lot of these anyway, but just to stick with them, we're gonna ask you just briefly, like, what is the direction that you said you had this plan and the white paper, what you were going to do with your team. What was in that white paper? What was the direction that you were heading in, and when you were trying to undertake this new role?
Well, I mean, it was about essentially empowering this community to achieve more, right? And not to say that wasn't already happening, but I was already working with the Imagine Cup program, and it's obviously the same target audience, university students across the globe. So how can I combine the work that I do in both of those roles into a larger effort to provide this platform for students to achieve and to succeed in bringing their dreams to reality, right? Whether it be in the Imagine Cup or whether it be in their career path. And for me, the key part of that is community. It's funny because I've actually, spent a lot more focus on student partners and building a community, and realized that, I need to do that with the Imagine Cup as well. Like, if there's students that find out about it, that they don't know what to do or how to form a team, like that means they need to be part of a community where they can ask those questions and determine that as well. And so Teams, for me, Microsoft Teams was a huge part of that. I won't take credit. I won't take full credit. It was already in process before I took over the role. Putting all the student partners on Teams. But the way we organize it, the way that we use it to communicate with you, and use it to essentially as a platform for you to communicate with each other, that was very much part of my goal. Those who have been with the program longer, there used to be representatives at Microsoft in your countries that ran the program, and when that kind of disappeared, there was a gap, and that gap was that they didn't have direct contact with anybody at Microsoft anymore. And so Teams is the way that I wanted to fill that gap. And what's amazing about it is that back in the day, those student partners, that they were a student partner in Egypt, for example, they really only interacted with other student partners in Egypt. On a rare occasion during a summit, they might meet other student partners. But what I love about what we have on Teams now, this amazing community on Teams, is that it's global, and there are no borders, there are no boundaries. It's just a global community of like-minded students that want to skill up and share their passion with technology with their peers and their communities. And it's just like this, you folks at MSPInspire, that this is something that grew organically. This was something that you wanted to do, and you are from all different regions across the planet, and it's just amazing to see that for me, right? Because that did not exist before in this program. And I don't think, I'm not super familiar with all the other student programs out there, but I haven't seen this kind of connection between students in a community like we have with the student partner program. And I absolutely, I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that actually I was just going to step in right there and tell about the fact that one reason why MSPInspire came about was just because Pablo had one direction. He had one thing he said, and then I think so Tracy reached out and told me that Pablo wanted to build a real sense of community in the program. So I was like, whoa, this is awesome. So Tracy asked me, would he be able to stay and help out, contribute to this? I was like, yes. So I just, also sat down, and then I took a paper and I wrote it down, like, MSPInspire, this is what we want to do. This, getting a YouTube channel, getting this, building a real sense of community. And I think that's actually a big credit to Pablo, because this is like Pablo had the zeal and had like the passion, to build a real sense of community. And that actually mentions that when you are leading something and you have something in mind, you want to execute, you talk it out to people. That's what I have learned from this, because Pablo voiced it out, and then we were able to, from all of us across the globe, every MSP was able to try his best and then, be part of that history.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the question we have here from Ganesh. So Ganesh is also a student partner. He's asking, I want to ask him, how does he feel working with us students? And if he could give a one-line message to us, what would it be?
It's amazing to work with you, because as I said, every day you're doing incredible things and having that exponential impact in your communities. And my one-line message to all of you would be that you are our inspiration. Like, I know that you guys are saying that I inspire you, but you, all the student partners out there, are my inspiration and my team's inspiration. Every day when we post stories on social about the amazing things that you're doing, it blows us away. And the fact that we get to interact and be a part of this community and be part of your journey is humbling for me to be able to be part of it.
Awesome.
Going on that, another thing that you tend to say a lot is this place is as much as it is yours as it is ours. So please help us to make it the best community it can be. And just to clarify, this isn't what we're saying. This is what Pablo says. So imagine him saying it, not us. So yeah, do you see this manifesting in the program, Pablo? And if so, if not, what ways can people get more involved?
Absolutely. I mean, like as I mentioned before, like just the fact that so many of you are reaching across borders and getting in touch with each other and helping each other out is one manifestation right there. But also just MSP Inspire is a prime example of that, right? You guys, you decided that you wanted to create something, and have these weekly calls, and I've not been involved in it at all, other than just giving you guys thumbs up and saying you're doing an amazing job. And because you're passionate, right? And you want to share that passion, and you want to share it beyond just the student partner community, and get students that aren't in the community yet excited and wanting hopefully to be part of the program. And I think that's amazing. And this is not unique. Like, this is happening across the program. There's chapters being started up in different cities for student partner and universities, and they're coming together and finding these like-minded folks that want to have this impact, that want to empower others, and it's just amazing to see.
Awesome,
yeah, when I actually read the blog written by Pablo on the MSP community blog, that was referencing on the virtual call, I felt that much of happiness in it. That was like 48 hours of live streaming. Pablo, how did you feel about this virtual call thing? That's the global connection, that we were able to bring speakers from across the group, and then we were able to do something. At the end of the year, I felt it within your test. How did you feel?
Well, I mean, I think it's so important, because not only is it important just in general to get the word out there and to share your passions, but in today's world with COVID and the coronavirus, like, these virtual events are becoming more and more important. There's so many people that are stuck at home, that can't leave their homes, that are under quarantine, under lockdown, and they need a place for hope and inspiration, and something to do and something to learn, something to skill. And the student partner community can be that for you, and obviously calls like this can provide that as well. And it's just amazing to see. And it's across the student partner program. I've seen virtual calls across the globe. That now what's so interesting and fascinating to me is that previously student partners were having events on their campus, and students from their campus were obviously going, but now they've gone virtual. They're just opening it up to everybody, and so they're getting people from across the globe connecting where they weren't having that before. And it's just so amazing. Like that animation that I showed earlier, that exponential impact is happening even more now with these virtual events, and it's amazing to see, and thrilling to be a part of.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think this, just to finish off, because the time's running out, and we don't want to take away any of your free time. So to finish off, in every situation, you can plan as much as you want, and it can be down to the T. However, through all of this, there can always be disruptions to plans, things that are unforeseen, for example, the summits, the cancellation of events, and so on. Microsoft now putting build online. So being a program manager for so many community leaders in the MSP program and across the globe, how do you rethink strategies in these tough times that impact so many people, and what's the thought pipeline like?
So I'll give you a prime example of things going wrong. So when I went to the India summit, I needed a business visa to go to India, and I knew this, I knew this in advance, but I had so much going on with the Magic Cup and all this other stuff that I just kept on procrastinating. That was the last thing on my mind. I'm like, I'll get it before I go. And so it said it would take 4 days. So a week before I left, I applied for the visa, and realized that I needed this business invitation. Like, it was a lot more work than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on my way to the airport, and I still didn't have my visa. And so when I go to check into my flight, they wouldn't let me check in. They said, sorry, sir, we can't let you check in and without a visa. I'm like, well, I'm going to get it today. This is at like noon, and I was going to get it that same day. And I was flying through Dubai, and I said, I'll have it by the time I get to Dubai. So just let me get on the flight to Dubai. I'm like, sorry, sir, you can't do that. We can't let you on the flight. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, they're depending on me. I'm the keynote speaker. Like, what am I going to do? And so figured out a way to essentially change my flight so I could have a layover in Dubai, so I could at least get to Dubai, and then hopefully have my visa by then, and then get on the next flight to India. And so that's what ended up happening, but it was extremely stressful. So finally get to Dubai, have my visa, change my flight again to get to India. And so at this point, I'm going to arrive at the exact time that I was supposed to arrive. So I'm like, great. I'm totally relaxed. I feel great. I'm like, okay, no more, don't have to be nervous anymore. I'll be there on time. I worked on my deck for the keynote on both flights, and the internet was horrible on the flight, so I had to save it locally, and that comes into play later. And so as I'm getting off the plane, I get my stuff, get off the plane, get to the hotel, and open up my
You forget
bag,
something.
my laptop, and my laptop was gone. And this had the only copy of my presentation. Obviously, it's a Microsoft Work laptop. It's a pretty big deal to lose that. And like, I can't. Like, what happened? And so I'm like, did somebody steal it? What happened? And I realized that I was so relaxed on the plane that I just put it beside me in the Surface Book. It's tiny, so it just fit right in the slot next to my seat, and totally forgot to put it back into my bag. And so I'm like, oh my God, maybe somebody's going to take it. Like, how am I going to find it? Maybe the plane's flown somewhere else. Like, and so at this point, I'm like, what do I do? Like, I have to redo this entire this deck that I had to do for the presentation. I didn't have a computer. I'm in India. Like, massive panic. But I knew that the deck is the one I just did with you guys. So I knew that I knew the material, so I could just, even if I didn't have slides, I could deliver it. I wasn't worried about that. But I was there for a couple days, and I needed a computer, and so anyway, I ended up getting it back, and and everything ended up working out. But I had to have a backup plan, right? So I planned on going to purchase a Surface Go or something in India that I could use while I was there, or some other cheap laptop, Windows laptop that I could use. Didn't end up needing to have to do that, but always have a backup plan, and always be ready for things to happen like that, right? In this case, both of those things were my fault. They were preventable, but other things can happen that aren't preventable, like coronavirus. There's nothing that we could have done to prepare for the cancellation of all these in-person events. And when it came to the summits, it broke my heart to have to postpone the student partner summits. But ultimately, the community is the most important thing, right? And your health and safety was far more important than having the summit. And so, we had to make that decision. It was a tough one, but it was also the right decision to make. We postponed those events way before other Ignite the Tour and all the other ones. But obviously at this point, it was obviously the right thing to do, because they've all been postponed, unfortunately, these events. But then we pivot, right? So Imagine Cup, prime example. Like, we can postpone the student partner summits, but we can't postpone the Imagine Cup. So we had to go virtual. And so it's like, how do we do that? We use Teams. How do we use Teams? So we go through all the thought process. I mean, you're all incredibly smart, young students across the globe. If you can, when something is going wrong or something is happening that's outside of the plans, take a deep breath and just sit for a second and think, because I know all of you have the capacity to figure out how to shift, how to do one thing different to essentially, or a couple things different, to still have an amazing event. So, and the more that this happens, there will always be challenges in life. The more that you start rolling with it, right? And the more that you go into that mode to turn off the stress and turn on the okay. And to me, it's actually the stress and kind of helps me come up with these ideas, because I'm like, I need to get this done. I need to do this for my community. I need to do this for the community, and I want it to be the best experience possible. So what is it that we're going to do to adjust and to essentially pivot while things go virtual? So just know that keep what's the most important, and for me it's community. I can't speak for the rest of you what the most important thing is, but when you're having an event and something goes wrong, what is the most important thing? If you feel that it is the community, then what is the first thing you can do to help that community out and help them feel like they're not losing out in the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a wonderful way to finish.
Yeah, actually, I think a lot of people have quotes to take out there and tweet about it. They were just, awesome stuff spoken by Pablo. So you have a lot of quotes now. You can keep it in your diaries. Yeah. Sandarisha, you had a question down there, right?
In the Twitter one?
In the chat, I think you had a question.
Oh yeah. I think it's a fine one. Like, sir, any future plans for the MSP program?
Lots of future plans for the MSP program. Yeah, a lot of amazing things coming up. We have some new benefits coming up. In fact, I will announce today on this call that we will have MTC certification vouchers for any student partner that completes the Azure Fundamentals learning path. We will be giving you a voucher to take the exam for free, no cost to you. Unfortunately, the centers are closed right now, but the voucher is good for a year, so you can get certified to get your AZ 900 fundamentals certification. And there's a ton of people. Salman, I think, is one of them on this call that already have that. They can help you in that journey. But I'm also going to, work with the Gold student partners to create some study groups. And while we're all at home, during this pandemic, it'd be great if we could study and get ready to take this exam, so that once the exam center's open, you can get certified. It's very important for you to skill, but it's even more important for us for you to have something on your resume, and a certification is obviously very important. So we're thrilled to be announcing that, and we'll be posting about it in Teams on Monday, and we'll give you more details on how that program will move forward. But that's just one of the many things. We're updating the platform. We're having a significant update in July. And in that, we'll have an external, public, viewable search for student partners, for student partner events. We'll have a map. You can search by university. This will be all online for anybody to search, not just internal to student partners. So really excited to have that. And of course, if you decide as a student partner to make your event, whether it's virtual or in person, public, then anybody across the globe who comes to the website will be able to see that and be able to join your event. So really excited to have that. Again, we're working on the back end for that, so it won't be out until July, but we're excited to have that for you all as well.
Amazing takeaways.
That's incredible.
Amazing takeaways. So that was some future plans of the MSP program. And if you are watching out there and you are not an MSP, this is almost like normal thing in the program now. Like, Pablo is always working on something with the team to bring out something amazing to the platform. I even remember Pablo made a statement that student partners will be getting free some domain names, right? Custom domain names. And Pablo didn't mention it once again because there are a lot of things planned out, right? So these are great stuff.
That is actually coming too. That's coming too.
This is MSPInspire exclusive.
They gave me a single code for all of you to use, and that means that it's complicated. But once we work out with them how to deliver those those domain names, you'll each get a domain name for free as a student partner moving forward as well.
Exactly. So there are some exclusive things in the program. We can't say all, but trust me, there are a huge amount of stuff, benefits come in the program. So if you are not an MSP, just go to studentpartners.microsoft.com and then apply. Just take an application, just do it, and then come be part of us.
Yeah, there's a short link.
Sorry, I just want to say that it's not. While we love giving you benefits, that's part of the platform that we're providing for you, right? To give you the tools and the things that you need to achieve your goals and reach your dreams. It's really up to you, right? It's not about the benefits. It's really about being part of this global community and achieving what you want to achieve. And the benefits are they're a part of it. They're part of the journey, it's more about being a part of this amazing community.
Absolutely.
We can do a lot with global connection. I never imagined a day would come where I'll be able to connect with people all across the globe. A huge amount of student partners never imagined it. So having a global connection is the most important thing. I've always said this, that it is very important we leverage on this global connection and make use of it.
I do see some people are asking about, can you apply again for the MSP program and all these things. Don't worry if you didn't get into the MSP program. It's about what you do as a person, not about the labels. just keep applying. Applications are open throughout the year, so it doesn't matter. So if you just keep doing it, it will show your persistence, and hopefully, I really hope that all of you are able to get in. But yeah, we're also open to like discuss with everything. If you're not a student partner, just reach out to one of us. The Discord's also open. Loads of you in the chat I've seen, and new MSPs used to be on the Discord, and now you're MSPs. So yeah, join us there. We'll be happy to discuss and do events with you too.
And I'd love to add to that it's if you don't get in, it's not the end of the world. You can apply again, but I would also show us what you've done between that first application and the second, right? What have you done to empower your community? What have you done to skill up? What have you done to show that you're a leader, that you can be a part of the student partner program? If you just apply this with the same application that you applied the first time, you probably won't get in. So I want to be blunt with you, but if you didn't get in the first time, it's because we didn't see the leadership potential or the community experience that we would hope for our student partners. And as you can see, what these students are doing, the bar is pretty high, right? So it's not. I don't want to say it's hard to get in, but it's not. It's something that we really care about the quality of our students in this program, and you can be a part of it. We just need to see that desire and that drive and that passion in you. And if we didn't in your first application, then make sure that you do something, whether it's skilling up on Microsoft Learn, or working with your community, or even joining with a student partner at your university and helping them, volunteering to help them host an event or an online session. Like, show us what you're doing to want to be a part of this community, right? Because if you just send the same application, you won't get in.
Exactly. I think so. This comes in handy for me to mention. Just this morning, about 5 hours or 7 hours ago, myself, Gomolimo, Sambav, Joshua, these are Go Student Partners. We are starting up with some Gold Mentorship Program. That is actually aimed at helping most of you to be able to, get into the Microsoft Student Partner Program. We have to constantly inspire you to be able to finish. Maybe if you're able to finish some learning path before you even apply, all those things, give you some upper hand of getting into the program. So just stay tuned on MSPInspire Twitter handle and YouTube as well, as we share more benefit that you can leverage on to scale up and then get into the program.
Yeah, speaking of Gomo, me and Gomo will be doing Blazor with .NET next week as well. But yeah, that's like we were all in your shoes. We all applied, so I'm more than happy to help out. Just message me. DMs are open on Twitter, anywhere, LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to help out. I think that's gonna be it, because I don't want to take too much of Pablo or Dawood's or Cinderella's time anymore. So are there any final words from you, Pablo?
No, just that again, you are all my inspiration. Every day I come into the office, I'm excited. Well, I'm at home now, I guess, my home office, but every day, I'm excited to do this work, because I know the impact that you will be having in your communities and beyond. And, we're empowering you to empower your community, everybody that you know and that you work with, to achieve more. And, you embody the Microsoft mission statement, all of you as student partners. And it's just an honor for me to be here and to be able to lead this community, and look forward to future opportunities to interact.
Awesome. So stay tuned with the MSP program. Imagine Cap social media handle is on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, Instagram as well. So you can just stay in touch and see all the latest tweets and then the latest updates being given on daily basis. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and you can see me on Twitter. I'm at I am Pablo is my handle, and then on Instagram it's Imagine Pablo. And love to interact with you there as well. And yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys. This has been awesome.
It's been a pleasure, Pablo, and
so
I hope you have a lovely day and stay safe.
Thanks. Stay safe. Bye.
All right, thank you so much, everyone out there. Shout out to all of you, from Vedan to Sambav, whoever is in the chat. Ganesh, all of you, thank you so much for tuning in today at MSPInspire. We love seeing you around. Just stick around always, and then let's keep inspiring the globe.
Yeah. To everyone on the stream, check out our Discord we have like a lot of people who used to be on Discord who are now MSPs. We have Bruna, we have, you know, loads of people here who used to be not MSPs and now they are. So like, just come and join. We have loads of discussions. We had like long, we have really funny discussions. Like Ganesh has his name as Ganesh Tiwari, not Bill Gates. Come join us. The top link, if you refresh the page, it's the top link in the description. Come join us, have fun. We play Scriblio, everything like that. I mean, like, yeah, we're gonna do more of these events every week. We will try to commit ourselves to these. I'm not sure how we can top this anymore because we just had Sam Sadie, we had Miri, we had Brian, we had Pablo.
This was podcast episode 1. So stay tuned for the episode 2.
David, your headsets. Okay, it's okay now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so expect the next speaker. Really great stuff. Thanks so much. We'll put Pablo's handle in the chat.
Yeah, Pablo's handle's on the screen. It's all of our handles are on the screen. So if you want to follow us, give us a DM. I'm more than happy to reply. And of course, MSPInspire is the Twitter handle as well.
Make sure to subscribe.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
I think you should drop the trailer then.
Yeah. Okay.
For us to end it.
Yeah. If anyone wants to play Scriblio, come on Discord. We might play Scriblio as well. Okay. And
we share the chat there.
One last thing, I do request all of you to subscribe, as David said. Also tweet at Pablo and MSPInspire and all of us on screen what you learned from today's session, what you want us to do next. Leave us some feedback because, you know, we want to be customer driven just like Microsoft is with the whole Insider program. So leave us feedback. We'll try to improve. Of course, you know, there's always going to be sometimes there's going to be technical issues. But yeah, leave us some feedback and we would love to know what to do next. Drop a comment down below as well. And also, just like we showed Ganesh's tweet, we might show your tweet in the next event. So tweet us or leave us a comment and we'll pick one or a few next week. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to play the trailer. Any last words from both of you?
Absolutely. Sandarisha, any last word?
Nothing more, just what Salman said, like just tweet today's sessions and don't forget to tag us, MSPInspire.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
All of you are amazing.
Me, massive salute to all of you. You all inspire. Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us.
Bye.